Yo, what's going on, everybody? Apparently, Instagram isn't going live today. There it is. We got Instagram live. Gotta love technology. We are officially live now on Instagram and on YouTube. What's up, everybody? If you're coming in for the first time ever, this is Think Big Podcast. This is episode 105. Tonight, we're gonna be taking this conversation a little bit different. I'm excited about this. We're trying something new. I'm curious to see how it goes, where we want to bring in a little bit more of a macro view. We oftentimes go hyper micro. In fact, there have been times where people have said from watching episodes they've gotten more value than they would have gotten from going into $10,000 and $20,000 mentorship courses, especially when we let Sam sing loose on the mic and on the airwaves. I mean, he doesn't know how to turn off the faucet, and he just gives out everything and all the sauce. Tonight, we're going to be experimenting a little bit with going a little bit larger, getting that 30,000 viewpoint from the sky, 30,000 foot up view, and really talking about what's going on in the real estate world and the real estate economy, kind of how we're experiencing the greatest wealth transfer that this country's ever seen over the next 2 decades, and what it means for us as individuals. Because a lot of people are starting to feel a little overwhelmed with everything going on. You've got an election year, which has absolutely been changing the landscape, changing the marketplace, changing the way sellers are selling, changing the way buyers are buying. It's quite frankly, it shifts the entire atmosphere and the entire marketplace inside the world of real estate and just entrepreneurship as a whole. We're going to be going over that. And you got the previous generation that's hold on to a lot of the wealth. You got the baby boomer generation effectively stepping out, and the millennials are stepping in. And there's a transference of wealth that's going to occur as a result, that you want to be able to basically position yourself to be a part of that transfer. So let's jump into it. Sam, I don't know if there's anything you want to add before I kind of share some things that I found over the weekend when I was looking into what was happening in the world of real estate.
No, I love it. I want to get into it, bro. I want to get into some evidence because I think it's going to be important for people. So let's value time.
Cool, beautiful. Let's jump into it. So first thing, when I was looking at real estate, right now, you and I, we came from the real estate world, and as an investor, I'm always curious to know what's happening in the marketplace, because I currently own a portfolio of rentals, and my screen just cut off. I've learned from. I'm going to look down and up. So Sam, I'm going blind right now. So if things pop up on the screen, just let me know. When I stop talking, I'll let you go, and
You're
I'll
good.
fix the screen. But inside the world of real estate, what I've discovered is we make our money in the buy no matter what we do. And my portfolio, what I'm always curious about knowing is, how are my renters doing? How's the general market of renting holding up? Because ultimately my houses are long-term rentals. And I'm always curious about appreciation. And what we're seeing is people have been saying, well, the market's going to crash, the market's going to go up, like who knows what. Well, just based on the data, I personally am going to say I don't think the market's going to crash at all. In fact, I think the market's going to do the complete opposite, and I think the market's going to rally. This is why I'm saying this. What we discovered when you look out there in the world right now, you've got 36% of all the homes owned in the US are owned free and clear. So you're talking about 36% of the population is owning the property. They have no mortgage on the house. And right now, with where interest rates have been, a person would be crazy to sell their property if they own it free and clear, right? That is the most valuable asset most people own. And so people that have it free and clear, they're not letting go of it. Then you're looking at another 40% of the houses that currently are in the US have a 3% or lower interest rate. Now, this is important because if you've got an interest rate of less than 3%, you understand how valuable that is, because interest rates are now 5-6% for traditional homeowners and 7 and 8% for investors. It makes their monthly affordability so much lower. So no one's getting rid of that, especially when you're looking at inflation at 8 and 9%. No one's letting go of a mortgage at a 3% or lower rate. In fact, the house I own currently, I bought this house more for the interest rate than I did any other amenity, any other feature of the property. We got it at a 2.75, and best believe My goal is to never let go of that interest rate. But then you're looking at that's about 75% of the population, right? So if we look at 40% are low interest rate, 36% is paid off. You're looking at about 75%. So 3 and 4 homes are effectively not going to hit the market. So now you've got the other 25% of homes that are out there that this is saying if those people are even interested in selling, that's the inventory that may or may not come to the market. And so, what does this do? If we've got low inventory wanting to come to market, what's it going to do with the house values? House values are actually going to want to rise up because there's not enough inventory. Check this out now. As we've taken couple this into the big picture, you're looking at the fact that a lot of people have been waiting to get into real estate. I mean, you hear this all the time. People are constantly saying, when the market crashes, like back in '08, then I'll finally jump in. In fact, every last one of you knows somebody who's waiting to get into the market. And recently, when interest rates shot up, a lot of people pulled back from getting into the market. What this did was when people pulled back from buying into the market because of high interest rates and waiting for the bottom, waiting for the crash, which everyone's always waiting for the bottom. You're never going to catch the bottom, right? Like you can't predict when the bottom's going to happen, but people still play that stupid game anyway. You're seeing that caused prices recently to come down. If you actually look over the last 12 months, real estate prices have been trending downward. Okay, so earlier, keep in mind, I said I don't think the market's going to crash, but house prices have been trending down, which is going to now encourage buyers. It's going to encourage people, traditional home buyers, to start to flood into the market. You're going to get those people who have been waiting on the sidelines as the prices are starting to come down, and also as interest rates are starting to come down now. You're going to get that market of people flooding into the market, keeping in mind that we still have a shortage of inventory. This is actually, in my opinion, going to start to push house prices back up. So I'm looking forward to this because it means I'm going to get appreciation on the properties I've already been holding, which is freaking awesome. But also, this is something that you guys should be thinking about if you're a wholesaler or if you're a flipper or if you're even a buy and hold investor. The fact that there's going to be a rally coming to the market should get you excited because, quite frankly, real estate is one of those things. I don't want to say that it always goes up, but given a long enough time frame, if you purchase properly and you purchase with the right mindset, it is something that it's kind of hard to lose in real estate if you play the game properly. Now, luckily, the way we do things and what we're going to talk about later tonight, we always make money when we buy real estate, typically because we make our money in the buy. We as investors, Sam and I, we go and we purchase our properties off market. So regardless of what the market's doing, whether the market's going up, down, or sitting sideways, we typically get in below market rates no matter what's happening because we have the ability to source our deals off market. We know how to go and negotiate to get the best prices. This is something that you want to be able to think about when you're stepping into this game. Sam, something else I caught that when I was looking up some research, I was looking on Redfin, and right now it looks like in 2023, 1 in 6 houses, single family houses in the US were purchased by investors. Now, Redfin defined investors as mom and pop, or essentially anyone that's not buying it in their personal name. So mom and pop investors, as well as like big corporations, big hedge funds, anyone that was purchasing a property within a LLC was considered an investor. But this has been the most amount of investor activity in the residential real estate marketplace we've ever seen. So what we're seeing is we're starting to see a consolidation of real estate as well. And the reason I think we should even care about this is because we want to get into that sector before the prices shoot up and make it unaffordable for us mom and pop investors to be able to purchase, right? Like these properties are being consolidated. It's going to become harder and harder for homeowners to get into properties. We know creative financing, and this is just a little bit of a kind of me throwing my own opinion in. We know creative financing. If we're able to get inside and purchase these properties and take control of them, we have the ability and the potential to hand home ownership back to the average person through things like rent to owns, through things like wraps, through things like lease option. We're potentially able to give people the ability to do that and still make a healthy profit in doing so. So just these are some of the things that stood out to me, man.
Huge. I wanna hit on this. Real quick, for anyone that doesn't know, if you guys didn't know, Marlon, we're gonna be doing a giveaway tonight. I don't even think we mentioned that earlier.
We did not. And I'm going to try and get my screen turned back on here.
Okay. So guys, real quick, I'm gonna plug this right now because Marlon's gonna give you guys the instructions of what you guys need to do real soon. But in case anyone didn't know, if you didn't follow me on social media, or you didn't see me on Facebook or on Instagram or anything like that, uh, this book is freaking important. Marlon knows I'm not a massive reader, and that is just because I don't like consuming stories. If I can help it, I like consuming strategy and tactics and things that I know that if I can read it, I can go directly implement step by step and then make money on the back end. The beautiful thing is, the last time, bro, that we did this book, we did a giveaway, which was a few weeks ago. This book had made me 117,000 in like the trailing 30 days. This book has now made me 165,000 in the trailing 45 days. We did a $23,000 day for our portfolio business. It's just a lot of amazingness that came from very specific strategies and tactics, and honestly, just by sticking to the process. And it absolutely astonishes me that there are people in the world of entrepreneurship, real estate, who still are not consuming Alex Hormozi's content, which is just the wildest,
Oh,
wildest thing to me. And so, to counter that, for all of you knuckleheads out there who don't want to make money, I am going to force you to make money by giving you knowledge tonight. So tonight we're going to be giving away at least 3 of these. I sent this out a few weeks ago to the last time that we did it. Cool thing is, people who received the books last time, they're already making money from it, which is amazing. And so, if you want a free book, Martin's going to tell you about what we have to do to win the giveaway tonight in a few moments. But I want to hit on this, Marlon. So I want to hit on some kind of preconceived notions, right? And I agree with a lot of what you're saying. One thing that I do want to highlight, and this is something that you and I talked about, is this idea that real estate specifically is kind of untouchable, right? That's this kind of, we all know there's a lot of investment strategies out there, a lot of investment vehicles out there. There's crypto, there's stocks, there's real estate, there's all these unique things. And real estate relatively is very insulated, but it doesn't mean that it's completely untouchable. And what I want people to do, and I really kind of want to open everyone's eyes here to what's happening outside of our borders. And I want to highlight one of my favorite countries on earth because I love their culture. I love so many things about them, and that is Japan. We talk in this industry as if real estate was only ever going to go up all the time, and there's never going to be any moments of, like, if there is a moment of hardship, it's going to be like 6 months or less, right? It's not, there's never going to be a great destination. And the reality is, Japan has this really interesting problem that's happening, and the problem they're having happen is affecting real estate for them. This problem, the same problem, like same problem, different side of the coin, is affecting us in the business world right now, and especially in assisted living, which is, I guess, at the end of the day, real estate. And if anyone didn't know, Japan's real estate economy is absolutely collapsing. And a lot of you guys may be thinking, it's like, how the hell does real estate economies collapse completely? Because like, people need homes to live in. And here's the interesting thing. It comes down to a cultural, societal thing where there's all of these, essentially, let's just call them baby boomers, right? Elderly folks who are aging out, right? People are passing away, or if they're of a certain age, the greater families will house them in the greater family home. And so they're not living on their own anymore because they're not independent. They can't sustain themselves. And so what's happening now, Marlon, is there is so much real estate in the country of Japan that there literally are not buyers for. And then Kevin said it perfectly right here. Decreasing birth rate is the issue. So in the grand scheme of things, we have all of these older folks who are consolidating their properties, or like they're moving in with, their children, and or passing away, which is a real thing. And the problem is, the birth rate is not combating that loss. And so what's now happening in Japan is there is a generation or two of homes, that literally, of properties that do not have buyer pools for them. And it doesn't even matter. Like, there are properties where I was doing some research on it, man, comparatively, they're selling for pennies on the dollar. Like, people are giving away properties effectively, and they can't even give them away for pennies on the dollar because there's no one to live in them. And what I want to do, and Donabelle, hey, Donabelle, good to see you. loved hanging out with Donna Bell in Florida.
Yep.
Assisted living is a huge kind of, so same issue. All these baby boomers retiring who need assisted living, right? The problem in America and how it affects real estate and by virtue of business is that there are not enough beds in assisted living facilities for the amount of people who are going to need care. And so what's interesting, same problem, right? Different side of the coin. And so I wanted to hit on that, guys. Real estate at the end of the day, even though it's hyper insulated in our country, it absolutely is. And the difference between us and Japan is simply this: America is a hub of migration. People across the world are always seeking to come to America, not to visit, but to stay here and create roots here. And that is a phenomenal thing about this country. It means that we are insulated, but it doesn't mean that any industry or any sector is wholly untouchable. And so what I really want to hit on today, guys, is I want to make you aware of that, like Marlon did. I think it actually is a phenomenal time to get into the game. If you are one of those people who are like waiting for the right time, now's a pretty damn good time, because Marlon mentioned it, right? If buyers are going to come back because they're over the shock value of, man, interest rates are 6%, 7%, they're so high, and everyone's like afraid and just kind of waiting for things to crash out. They've been waiting for the crash for a while now, and things haven't effectively crashed. So what's now happening is residential retail buyers are coming back into the marketplace, and they're like, maybe this is the new normal. Maybe it's like, you know what? I've already waited a year and a half to buy my single family property, and I'm 30 years old and I want to buy my first freaking house already, right? Because like my fiance is on my ass. We have a kid on the way. Like we need to settle, we need to establish roots. And so what's now happening is when retail buyers come back in, right? Who feeds them? Flippers. And who feeds the flippers? Wholesalers. And who funds the whole damn thing? Lenders. And so if you are new in the game and you're hesitating and you're worried about who's going to come into the White House and you're worried about what interest rates are going to do, the reality is you can have that worry at the best of times, at the worst of times. In 2021, when hedge funds were going crazy and buying everything and interest rates were at like 2.5%, there were people, Marlon, who were waiting on the sidelines even then, which is obscene to me. So I want everyone to be aware of the good, the bad, and here's the reality. It's like, what do you do with that information? The reality is I want everyone here who consumes our content to be, let's just say, immune to that volatility, right? When the market goes up, I want you to ride that wave and crush it. But when the market goes down, I don't want you to go down with it. I want you to be insulated, right? From market volatility, from a declining birth rate, conversely to the retirement rate or the mortality rate, which is in America also a very interesting thing. The baby boomer generation that is phasing out, America has not actually given birth. Citizens have actually not given birth enough to counter that churn. It's a very interesting topic. And so regardless of what happens, I care about how do you stay insulated. And Marlon, I think the insulation point doesn't come from telling people, let's just get into real estate. Let's just buy more properties. Let's just flip more stuff. Because all of those things, right? Buying a property, right? Having a portfolio of 20 houses or doing 10 flips in a year. It's very easy to say those things, but the reality is those are accumulations of several skill sets. And I vehemently despise when people are like, yeah, just go flip more houses or go get into wholesaling. And it's, as someone who wholesales a ton, I think we've got like, I got my report today from the team. We've got like 15 deals in escrow right now. We wholesale a ton. I'm going to tell you right now that wholesale is a collection of a ton of different skill sets. And I think Marlon and I have chatted about this, and I think we are a little bit biased because this is what you and I lean towards. But I'm going to present you guys with some data, and then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the skill sets that are super, super important for you to be insulated against all this. Whether you're a wholesaler, flipper, lender, buy-in holder, whether you run a service business, whatever the hell it is, we're going to get into that. But Marlon, before I get into data and some screen sharing, because I want to show people a lot of data and really walk them through this stuff, what do they have to do to get a copy of 100 Million Leads?
Good question. And Sam, I freaking love listening to you, man. So, guys, tonight you're going to be able to earn your way into getting probably one of the most valuable books written in 2024. There's no question about it. This book is amazing. What you need to do tonight is going to be two things. One, if you're already here, you're on YouTube. What's up, Jade? What's up, Donabella? If you're here on YouTube, make sure you are subscribed to each of our YouTube channels. So you're going to go to Sam's YouTube channel. If you're only on mine, I want you to actually go over to Sam's YouTube channel by searching Sam Sing on YouTube, and you're going to subscribe to Sam. And then if you're on Sam's channel, you're going to come over and subscribe to mine. When you do that, it's so simple. You're going to screenshot yourself watching this right now, and you are going to share it on Instagram. I'm going to figure out how to share my screen on my cell phone here in a minute. But I'm going to actually show you guys what to do. Actually, I should be able to do this right now. So let's see if I can do this right now. Let's see if Sam, can you still hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I could share my screen, but I can't share it I can't do it right now. It's letting me share to my computer, but it's not letting me share to StreamYard. Guys, you're going to screenshot yourself watching this right now and share it on Instagram. Tag me, tag Sam, and share the actual link to the YouTube. Share the link to the YouTube. The people that do that and you share us and you tag us, we're going to see that at the end of this episode. We're going to be going on Instagram to see who's doing it. I'm already getting that some people are tagging me right now. You guys move quick. I don't know how to frick you do that because I barely even finished saying it and I'm already getting tagged. But everyone, that's what you guys are going to have to do. I'm going to remind you later tonight in the episode. But Sam, before you jump into it, because Sam's about to break down what skill sets are needed in order to basically brave the new world that's coming. Because he mentioned it before. We got AI on the rise. You got elections happening in like a week, November 5th. We're going to have a new president sworn into the White House. You've got the greatest transfer of wealth. We're talking over $84 trillion, not billion, trillion with a T is going to be transferred over the next 2 decades. And you're going to need skills in order to navigate through that world and make sure that you and your family are correct, just taken care of. But before that, I need you all to make sure you have the proper mindset. Here's what I like. I need you to adopt. I need you to adopt this thought process that regardless of what is happening in the world, I am going to be the person that creates opportunities. I am going to be the person because no matter what, whether it's been the Great Depression or the Great Recessions, there's always been a group of people who win. There's always a group of people who come out on top. There are always people who walk out of the worst times making the best. Right? During COVID, so many people became millionaires and multimillionaires. What I want you to do is I want you to make up your mind that you are going to be one of those people that when the history books are written and they look back, they're going to see that Michelle Rice, that Deborah, that Sharon, that you guys were the ones that said, okay, this is an opportunity. I am a growth-minded individual. I am not affected by circumstance. In fact, I am the person who creates circumstance. Right? Everyone else may be affected by circumstance. I create circumstance. That's the mindset you need to adopt going forward. So as you start to hear what these skills are, you recognize I'm going to apply them and produce with them. All right. So Sam, let's jump into it, man.
Huge. Before I get into the skills, I want to actually highlight the problem because I never want to give you a treatment to a problem that you guys aren't very, very aware exists. And then what we're doing is Marlon talks about real estate. I talked about real estate in Japan. What I'm going to do is we're going to go and pull back. We're going to zoom out and we're going to look at the country as a whole. And this is literally going to apply to everyone, right? There's a lot of people who get so gung-ho about politics and what's happening on the news all the time. And there's a big truth to this. And that's that very often what's happening on your favorite news network actually doesn't affect your day-to-day life as often as you think it does. But what I want to hit on today is the stuff that does. And it's the stuff that nobody talks about. And I'm going to hit you with an acronym that I can almost guarantee that nobody in the chat even has heard of. And let me know in the chat if you guys know what CPI stands for in the economy.
I do because I talked to Sam.
Yeah, you talked to me and you heard me like rant about it for like 20 minutes. So guys, CPI, it stands for Consumer Price Index. And I'm not going to bore you with it. The Consumer Price Index is basically this idea. It's a number that measures collectively from everything you have around you, right? From the products you buy to the services you do, for all the things that cost you money to live in this country, right? It's a number that reflects where are we at in relation to where were we last year? Where were we the year before? Sharon's like, I didn't type it fast enough. Sharon, I'm going to give it to you. I'm just going to pretend that you absolutely didn't wait for me to say it first, but it's okay. And here's the interesting thing about CPI. Okay. And I'm actually going to bring this up. Cool. Let me go and screen share. Give me 1 sec, guys. I want you guys to see this. I love like absolutely throwing data in people's faces because it matters.
Yo, how many of you guys want to see data hike? How many of you guys get hyped when Sam puts charts up on the screen? Drop some fire emojis in the chat. I just want to see who's awake here, who's watching. What's up, Kevin? Good to see you, bro.
All the
What's up, Brad?
visionaries hate charts. Okay, guys. So what I'm gonna do is I know to do this. We are going to zoom in. Marlon, is that better?
Dude, that is way better. Let me go full screen. I love it.
Okay.
So Chinmay says fire. I like that he doesn't even drop the fire emoji. He just says fire.
There you go. I like that. Okay, so where am I? All right. This is the 12-month percentage change. Basically just means what we're going to do is this. I don't want you guys to get so overwhelmed, but the CPI consists of basically all of this stuff here. All of this stuff, food at home, your energy bill, your electricity, your apparel for all the folks that love buying clothes every 5 minutes, your food, if you're door dashing all the time like I am, gasoline. Guys, I live in California. Gasoline is horrible here. Okay, commodities, new vehicles. I bought a new truck recently and I'm like, it was expensive. So all these things are accounted. If you look at it, this is basically what it costs you to live in the country at this time. One thing that this doesn't account for is actually, if you guys will notice, it's actually your home. And it's a little bit different. And there's a lot of things. And here's the key difference why homes aren't, there's a million different reasons why homes aren't factored into this. But the main reason is this is because the government actually has an influence on home pricing. So when the Fed changes interest rates, it'll affect the economy. It will affect the capitalistic marketplace. But all of these things effectively are kind of like in a free market, like gasoline, food, right? Energy, electricity. It's really kind of this protected ecosystem where the capitalistic market does what it's going to do. Here's what I want to highlight. And don't get overwhelmed by this. This chart is basically showing the CPI in the month of September, okay, from 2024 every year all the way back to 2004 over the last 20 years. And what are we noticing here, right? We're noticing that across the board, it's actually increasing across the board. We have this massive drop here, which was 2008, 2009, right? Everyone talks about, 2008 where stuff went back or stuff went bad. The reality is very often when you have a huge economic crash or this massive bank failure, what ends up happening is the effects aren't felt right away. They're felt maybe a year later. And so that's why we see this massive drop in a CPI in 2009. But across the board, if you actually zoom out far enough, this chart doesn't let me do it. I looked at our CPI over the last 100 years. Very interestingly, if you zoom out far enough, the trend directionally is always going to be higher. Mm-hmm. And so now we're stabilized at about 2.4 over 0, which means we're getting more expensive. It just straight across the board, it costs more to sustain your life here. And now here's the interesting thing, guys. And this is where it actually gets scary if we start looking at it. I share this tab instead. You guys see this? Table A percent changes?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to keep this super basic. This is on a month-to-month basis in the last, in this year of 2024. In the month of September, all items in your CPI increased 0.2%. Think about that. Your CPI increased 0.2% just last month. This is all the stuff that is consisting of your life to live here. Now, the reality is this, Marlon. Has income, the median household income, did that increase 0.2% in September? No, not at all. Did it increase 0.4% which is a huge jump in March? Did the average income increase? No. And here's the reason, guys, and I want to drive this home for people. Income doesn't increase as quickly as we see shifts and changes in these charts. And the reason why is because your income is very often locked in. People who are at W-2s, they sign a salary agreement, right? And they may have, every 6 months they can do a check-in with their boss to see if they, have hit the metrics they need to hit to get, a $10 raise. But the reality is the marketplace is shifting every freaking day. Stuff can get more expensive every day. The cost for you to live here can increase 0.4% in 30 days, But unless your income increased by 0.4% in that same 30 days, guess who's losing money now? Guess who is, in a very micro level, getting priced out of the cost of living? And so another entity that I want you guys to look at, and by the way, if you guys are looking at these charts, like Sam, where are you getting these charts are actually, I'm going to zoom, I'm going to go up to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics. So I'm not actually going off of anything that is like, off Wikipedia. This is from the US Department of Labor. This is from the government itself. And I want to highlight that, guys. The interesting thing is this: the cost of living is going up at a quick rate. Inflation is going up, but your income may not be. And if that trend sustains for too damn long, what's going to end up happening is people are going to get priced out of the marketplaces they live in. And I'm going to hit on this again because this matters, guys. Let's go here. We are going to go to, I'm definitely going to have to zoom in on this one. Again, I don't like using crappy sites or sources. Do you guys see this? Quick fact.
You guys zoom in a little bit more.
Awesome. Better?
Way better.
Okay. This is from the Census Bureau, the United States Census Bureau, guys. And I'm specifically going to highlight my home state, and that's going to be California. Gross. Why? Because I live here, and it's a phenomenal market to actually understand what is happening. And so, give me one sec. I'm actually zoom out here because this thing does not want to play nice. Give me one sec, guys. Economy, transportation, business, it should be under. Boom. Okay. Median household income in 2022. The stats aren't out yet for 2024. I think 2023 is going to be published soon. But the median household income in 2022 is $91,000. Okay. Here's the interesting thing. If we actually look at where the median household income is projected to be for 2024 in the state of California, it's not 91,000. Here's the interesting thing. It's actually going to be a little bit more than that. It's actually going to be closer to 100K. And here's the issue with that. That sounds great. It sounds fantastic for people in California until people in California can't afford to live here, because the price of living in California is increasing at a rate much faster than that. And so here's the dangerous part. We see this in Hawaii, right? Marlon, you and I have really good friends, Kamaha and Tristan, who are amazing folks in Hawaii. They're on this amazing mission about pricing people into paradise. And if you guys didn't know, there is this huge cultural kind of sensitivity thing happening in the state of Hawaii, where the natives, right, the people who've been there for centuries, for thousands of years, are being priced out of their homes, are being priced out of their home islands. And the reason why is because as the cost of living comes up, right, their income may not raise up at the same rate. And if that sustains for too long, in Hawaii, this has been happening for a very, very long time, people literally cannot afford to buy homes and sustain properties there. And so they are getting priced out of paradise. And what's happening is in California, we see so many people in Southern California, Northern California, in the state of Washington. There are massive populations of Hawaiian people who have basically been displaced from their own homes, who've been displaced from their own marketplaces. And that is tragic to think about. It's happening in Hawaii. It's actually also happening in California. We know it's kind of a meme, right? Where Californians will leave California and they'll go to Texas and they'll go to Utah and they'll go to Arizona. And it's funny because I literally saw this kind of thing today. It was like a political demonstration. And people in Texas, they have their slogan, "Don't California my Texas." And the funny thing about that, right, not to get political, is what's interestingly happening is when people from California who've got a 6-figure salary, and I think right now in California, the projection is that if it's a 2-adult household, right, 2-parent household with 2 kids in the state of California, in Southern California, so Los Angeles County or around, the average household income isn't 100,000, bro. It's up like 148,000. It's a lot higher. Okay. Here's the issue though. They can't afford to live there anymore. Think about that. I had a job where I moved to Northern California for a little bit. My salary was $121,000. And I could barely, with 121 grand on a salary as a W-2, which is huge, I could barely afford a studio apartment. That's kind of crazy. But what ends up happening, Marlon, when all these folks who have 140K of income coming in, they go to Texas, where 140K can buy you like 5 homes. or they go to Florida, or they go to Arizona or Utah. What ends up happening is they bring their salaries to the table. They can offer way more on properties when they're competing with local Texans or local Utah-ians. I don't know what you call people from Utah. Utah.
Mormon.
Competing with the Mormons. I love it. Competing with the Mormons, right? And what ends up happening is this. The locals get priced out of their own marketplace. And this is horrible. Like, guys, I'm not trying to make Californians out to be like horrible people because I'm a Californian and I probably not going to stay here for very much longer. But the reality is this. The people who are not aware and prepared are the people who get tossed out of the game. And my goal is this. We know inflation's going up. We know the cost of homes, Marlon talked about it, are probably going to keep increasing because buyers are going to come back. Cool. We know CPI is going up. We know everything is going up. The key that we're missing here is that income is not going up at the same rate. And guys, I want to hit on this so much. We've got a little bit of time. The number one thing, in my opinion, I think Marlon and I both agree, and I've actually looked at this. You guys can Google this too. I'm going to stop screen sharing for, wait, let me really quickly see. Do I want to show you guys that? No, that's useless. Doesn't matter. Cool. Okay. Here's the point of all of this, guys. Skill sets are the things that insulate you. I am very blessed to be where I'm at right now in life. And the reality, though, is that I'm not saying that I'll never go broke because I can bet big and lose it all. Here's the reality, though. Marlon, if I lost it all, do you think it would take me very long to get it all back?
No, probably
no.
like a month.
Yeah, and I'll probably get it back like 20 times quicker than it took me to build it.
Yep.
The reality is it's because I've accumulated skill sets. And I am so hell-bent on accumulating skill sets because the vehicle, right, can go away. How do I know this? Freaking Airbnb. Airbnb as a platform is getting regulated in so many places across the country. I'm not knocking it. I know there's tons of people making tons of money on it. But the reality is if you go run it in Vegas, like I have a friend right now who got fined by the city of Vegas $200,000 for illegally running his Airbnb. People are like, well, I stay in Airbnbs all the time in Vegas. Yeah, 90% of them are illegally run. And the homeowners are just playing a game of Russian roulette till the city fines them for $200K with a lien on the property. It's literally happening to one of my good buddies right now. Really interesting thing. The vehicles can run out of gas. The vehicles can get recalled by the manufacturer. At the end of the day, the skill set comes from the person who's driving it, aka you, the business owner. And whether you're new or intermediate or advanced, I am hell-bent on this. I want everyone to focus on one primary skill, but two, I'll say two because I want to include the integrators here. Two primary skills that if I'm a firm believer, as long as you just do good at those, as long as you only work on that and heck, even become like half decent at them, you will probably never be broke again. Or if you go broke, you won't stay there for very long at all. And those two skill sets are sales and marketing. And it's funny. We talked about those avatars, right? Lenders. Marlon and I did a couple episodes about lenders who suck at lending or growing their lending business, and it's because they suck at freaking marketing. Lenders don't know how to market. To a lender, most lenders, marketing looks like I give people double-digit returns on their money backed by real estate. That's not marketing. That's a tagline, and it sucks too. Marketing is understanding how to brand your business, is understanding how to create something that attracts revenue, that attracts opportunities to come in all the time, and most importantly, when you're not there as well. Sales, conversely to marketing, right, is your ability. If I put an opportunity in front of you, right, if I put a $50,000 opportunity in front of you, and I say, hey, you need to close this person. It's on you. They're teed up. They're ready. It's a hot lead. They want to sign the contract right now. But if you suck at sales, they're going to walk away and they're going to go and do business with someone else. And all that's missing is a skill set. Now, why do I bring up both sales and marketing? Because sales are phenomenal for visionaries. For the people who are super charismatic and outgoing and extroverted and you love talking to people, great. Sales is going to be a home for you. But let's just say you're a little bit introverted. Let's just say you're an integrator, right? You don't like talking to people. You don't have a massive social battery. The good thing is with marketing, you actually don't ever have to talk to anybody. You really don't. Some of the best marketers in the country who I study, you will never see their face. No one knows they exist. And like marketers know they exist. And they're the ones who are actually the geniuses behind the scenes. And the beauty of both of these, by the way, guys, is this. You can't ever be priced out of a country with those two skill sets. You learn sales. I know people who are at a sales job, like a 1099 kind of setup, and they're making between 15 to 20,000 a month. That's actually insane. That's more than most Americans by far. It's like 4 or 5 times the average American household income to make 20 grand a month, and they're doing it remotely. They don't have to go into a workplace. They can do it from anywhere they want. You can hop in a van, an RV. You can move to Washington. You can move to Hawaii. You can move to freaking New Zealand if you want and still make 15 to 20 grand in American dollars every single month with a sales skill set. And heck, with marketing, you probably do even a lot more.
Mhm.
And so the reason why I'm highlighting these things more than anything else, more than finances, more than all these other things, is because I want you guys to Google this. If you don't believe me, go look at the most important skill sets based on every article you'll see. 99% of them are going to say the 2 fastest growing industries and that are the most in demand: sales and digital marketing, right? Not put a sign on a freaking billboard. No. It's how do you generate leads online with the internet? And the beauty is this, guys. We are in a period of this country, of the world, thanks to technological advancement, where to me, I firmly don't believe that as long as you have access to the internet in today's day and age, right? And you're just a fully functioning adult human being, heck, even a teenager, honest to God, there is no reason you stay broke. There's none. It is easier now than ever to live pretty abundantly, but it comes down to those 2 skill sets. Why do you guys think I'm such an ardent believer in not just 100 million leads, but 100 million offers? I want to talk about that for a moment. 100 million offers, the first book, the book that predates this one, okay? The purple one for everyone that knows. 100 million offers is a book that is consisting of both marketing and sales. 100 million leads. You can follow the principles behind this book, right? At least half of the strategies in this book, and never have to get in front of a camera in your life and still make all the money. Guys, do you guys remember the 165 grand that I've done in one of my portfolio businesses in the last 45 days? Marlon, you know how many times I had to get in front of the camera for that?
0.
0. None at all. All I had to do was be the genius behind the scenes who understood marketing. That's the insane part. And I really, like, guys, I'm so passionate about these things because I look at when you guys go to Walmart or Target or Costco or whatever, the reality is I want you to understand that a lot of the people around you, due to the law of statistics, they don't have more than $1,000 saved up, truly. They're one horrific life event away from losing all of their savings. Most of them are living paycheck to paycheck. And you know what that does to your ability to create abundance for your family or create generational wealth or break generational curses? It is almost freaking impossible. But here's the interesting thing. When I'm at Costco, because I love going to Costco, it's awesome. I ask myself this now, bro. I'm like, what skill sets do you think these people have? And I look at it and I'm like, most people who are living paycheck to paycheck, great people, nothing against them, but they have not acquired enough skill sets that are valuable to the marketplace. And it's why they are at a W-2 taking orders and instruction in a protected, confined system for them because they never developed enough to be the creator. And that is freaking huge. And then I went, you know this, I was in Tampa a few weeks ago. I was like episode 101. I was live from the hotel. I was at a private mastermind, and everyone there is either an influencer, a coach, a guru, or they own a big ass company. And the average person there is doing between 1 million to 15 million a year. Phenomenal room. Interesting thing, Marlon, 90% of the people in that room actually were not the influencers. They were people who who have no brand. You'll never see them on camera. They probably don't even like talking to people, but they're still making up to $15 million a year. And all they did was talk about marketing and sales. I look at those people, right? Conversely to the Costco folks or the Walmart folks or the Target folks, I look at that mastermind room and I'm like, what's all of their number one skill set? It's always either going to be marketing or sales. And I want you guys to take this in. You guys, we all talk about it. Marlon, I've spent 177 grand, $177,000 in my own money. Actually, I just invested in a new self-storage thing. So no, I'm actually at 179,000, almost 179 grand in spend in mentorship, masterminding, or one-to-one CEO coaching. Here's the interesting thing, guys. All I've learned a lot of things, but just get really damn good at marketing and sales. That's it. If I had a tagline, all of it, so you don't have to spend near 200,000 freaking dollars, it's learn marketing and sales. So if you're a lender, you want to grow your business, go watch episodes. What was it? 102, 103? There's 2 episodes about lending. They're recent ones. Yeah.
I think 103, 104.
103, 104. Go watch those 2 episodes, especially 103, the first one. Phenomenal episode about how to grow a lending business from the perspective of marketing. I break down exactly how I would personally structure a lending business. If you're a flipper, here's the thing with flippers. Flippers, I love you guys. You guys usually have no predictability in your business because your business is not owned by you. It's owned by wholesalers selling you deals. And I see flippers who go out of business every 5 freaking minutes because they have no control over their own deal flow. Why do they not have any control over their own deal flow? Because they never learned how to market and sell. And so wholesalers, in my opinion, are more powerful in the economy than flippers are. And so when I see wholesalers go out into other industries, man, wholesalers freaking crush it. So if you're a wholesaler, amplify marketing, double down on it, show up to Marketing Secrets or any masterclass that I do. If you're a flipper, you better learn sales and marketing, because unless you want to start paying $50,000 assignment fees every 5 minutes and where you have all the risk and the wholesaler gets all the profit, that's the ecosystem that we're all going to. I know, because we charge our flippers on our wholesales a lot of freaking money. I routinely make more money on a wholesale, not routinely, but every now and then, I make more money on a wholesale fee than the flipper makes actually flipping the property and taking all the risk. Isn't that crazy, Marlon?
Yep.
And if they had the sales skill set, the marketing skill set that my team has, they would never have to face that. If you're a lender, you want to grow, marketing and sales. You need to learn how to market your business and sell opportunities at the door. And I mean this, if I put a billionaire, right? Donna Bell, you're amazing. Love you. If Donna Bell, I'm going to use you as an example. If Donna Bell has a lending business, I don't know if she does, but if she does, and I say, hey, Donna Bell, I'm going to put you into a room for 15 minutes with someone worth $100 million, and they want to deploy $12 million with one person over the next 12 months. Unless you are damn good at sales, you are not going to get that opportunity. But guess what? If you had that skill set, that opportunity could change your life forever. And so agents, right? I want to hit every avatar here. Agents especially. Guys, due to the NAR settlement, we know that buyer's agents basically aren't guaranteed a payout all the time anymore. And buyer's agents they've become lazy. They just know that as long as they do very bare minimum work, they're going to get cut into a commission. That's not the case anymore. Buyer's agents have to go and actually learn how to market themselves. They actually have to learn how to put together compelling stories and compelling copy and show how to really sell themselves and sell their service. That comes from marketing to get the leads through the door. And when you're at an appointment, like a potential listing appointment or representing buyers, you're trying to get them to have exclusivity with you, you need to learn how to sell yourself. So across the board, no matter what avatar you look at, marketing and sales reign supreme. And I don't think anyone can change my mind about that. And Marlon, you know what's the best thing, in my opinion, about both marketing and sales? There's no damn barrier to entry to get good at sales. All you have to do is commit to talking to people and understanding what went right, what went wrong, get some level of feedback, get really good at it, right? I learned how to become a damn good closer, training sales. and it cost me effectively nothing, just my time in a
Mhm.
phone. For marketing, guys, I'm telling you right now, some of the best marketing material on the internet right now, in the world right now, as someone who's spent near 200 grand on masterminds, telling you right now, it's not in those rooms. Some of the best marketing information in the world is on YouTube for free. Heck, 50% of it is being published by this guy for free. I've made more money with Alex Hormozi's free content than I've made in any mastermind that I've been in. And so, why am I so adamant about this, bro? And I'm super preachy about this. I'm super like upset and like kind of angry about it, is because I want people to understand they are one skill set away from never going broke again. They are one skill set away from never having to worry about sending their kids to college or an unexpected bill coming up, or if you're a guy being able to drop, 10, 20, 30, 40 grand on an amazing ring for your girl. Like, anything you want is literally, in my opinion, one skill set away. So, Marlon, how do people start getting that skill set? Because the
Dude,
last thing I want to do is like, we're going to give them this stuff for free. Okay. I'm going to send you guys the books for free because that matters to me. What I don't want to do is I don't want to send people somewhere where someone's going to charge them a bunch of money. So, what can they do for free that can help them start working on sales or marketing?
yeah. So I'm going to tell you guys how to work on sales. I'm at least going to tell you what I did because, first off, getting into sales, I didn't realize what was required. And Sam, I don't know if you know this. When I recognized very early on that sales was an important skill, I actually went and got a job at my local LA Fitness because I was like, I need to just get experience. I've never had to sell anything in my life. Now I'm getting into real estate and I'm realizing wholesaling is really just a sales and marketing business. I need sales experience. So I went and got a job at LA Fitness. I did that for 2 weeks, absolutely hated it. But what was really important and what I learned there is I learned about role playing. And so this is what I think effectively every single person on this call can do. Every single person watching this live can do this is go and get yourself a friend who's also in real estate. In fact, I would say grab somebody who's in the chat right now. There's over 50 people in the chat live right now. Link up with each other, squad up with each other, and start to practice role playing. Like I saw Don Rich inside here. Don Rich and I used to be on a Zoom call every single morning at 7 a.m. for about an hour or two. And Don would help me get better at sales. He would help me get better. We would role play. He would be a buyer. I would be a seller. We would switch places. And we started to learn how to overcome objections, start to get over the fear of rejection, start to do all of that. I highly recommend you make that a part of your daily practice, right? Business is now your sport. And just like any sport, you need to practice the fundamentals and you need to practice it regularly. You need to create a time in your life, in your business. This is a money-making activity that you are going to practice sales. You are going to practice sales. And if you need a framework, because I'm a big fan of frameworks, because people always ask, where do I get a good script? And I'm like, I don't really have a script anymore. I make scripts as time goes on. What you're going to find, the reason I'm not a big fan of giving people a script is not because we don't use them, but because scripts change. After a while, the marketplace gets conditioned to a script. This is just the reality. And this is also why AI will not ever, I still believe humans will outperform AI no matter what, because as time goes on, the scripts are going to change. The marketplace is going to want something that feels real again. And that's where your ability to follow frameworks and understand human psychology is going to give you an advantage. 2 books I highly recommend you go and pick up. And quite frankly, you can find the audiobooks for free on YouTube. Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Phenomenal book. Chris Voss was the #1 negotiator for the FBI. And he took all of the psychology that he learned with negotiating for human lives and introduced it into the corporate world where people were able to go and negotiate multi-million-dollar contracts. And then the second book I'm a huge fan of is David Sandler's You Can't Teach a Kid to Ride a Bike at a Seminar, because that book provided an amazing framework for how a sales conversation should go. And so those are the 2 things. I'd grab those 2 books. And if I was throwing a bonus in there, I would say How to Win Friends and Influence People, because effectively you're just wanting to understand effective human communication. I would get those 3 books, I would devour them, and then I would get a friend, I'd get a battle buddy, I would get a teammate here from the chat, and I would say, "Hey, can we hop on a Zoom call for 30 minutes, twice, 3 times a week?" And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you the hardest objections I've been getting. I wanna see how you overcome them, and we'll just role play back and forth with each other. I promise you, the ROI on that activity, if you commit to it for 90 days, the ROI on that activity will be absolutely out of this world. We took, just to give an example of this, because I have someone who followed this exact framework. If anyone knows the name Munif Saza, Munif was somebody that when I first met him, he was so bad at sales, right? He had been in real estate. He had invested thousands, right? I think around like $30,000, $40,000 into real estate coaching, right? But he never practiced building sales skills. He got all the real estate information. He got all the information on how to do the business, but he never actually developed the sales skills necessary. When we started role playing, he was so bad that in a role play call, he actually hung up the phone, a fake phone call. He hung up. However, he stayed committed to coming back and doing the process over and over. And you guys know 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever time it was, he had competed in what we call the Closers Olympics. All my real estate people know what that is. And he placed second place in the entire United States, all because he practiced and developed this sales skill. This is what you need to do. So, Sam, I think that would be what I would tell anybody for how to do this. Also, I think we need to give away a book, dude.
Yeah, let's do this. 100%. We need to start giving away some books. Last thing I want to say on this, guys. It's so funny. The books that you mentioned, right? Never Split the Difference. You can't teach a kid to ride a bike at a seminar. Funny enough, guys, right? The Sandler Submarine, as it's known as.
I love it.
Just so you guys know, almost every $5,000 to $10,000 sales coaching platform, it's nothing unique with it. They just rehash those two books and put their spin on it, like straight up. And you can get those books for pennies on the dollar, probably even free online. I'm not sure. So 1,000%, I love it, dude. Yeah, let's give away some books.
Yep. And guys, one last thing on this. Like, the books are not going to change your life. Applying the books are going to change your life. I like, if there's one thing that you ever took away ever from me, like this, like, people will pay me $10,000, $20,000 for coaching, one-on-one coaching. And this is it. This is my $20,000 coaching summed up into a sentence: action, right? It's the implementation of the information. Information without implementation will only lead to frustration. All right, so I'm looking right now, bro. I see we got a couple of people that gave us a tag, which I'm freaking loving. First off, I think one person that needs to get a book tonight is someone who's been crazy active live in the chat. She's tagged us on Instagram. She's always been showing up. Freaking awesome woman. I think we got to hook Donabelle up with a book.
Dude, I will. I am with that a million times over. And one of the reasons why is not just that. Donabelle is someone who, in case anyone doesn't know, it's not that she just showed up to the chat today. Donabelle shows up like every time I've seen her. Marlon and I spoke in, where were we? Jacksonville, Florida last year. We flew out to Jacksonville, Florida, and Donabelle was there. And the energy and love that she brought to that event was like the best thing ever. And I remember, and I'll never forget that event. I'll never forget that event, and she's one of the reasons why. And so, dude, and something that hit me, that Donabelle, I'm going to use you as an example, and it's this. You mentioned this earlier. It's so hard to break this generational curse, the curse of golden handcuffs of having stable jobs. And here's the thing, Donabelle, and this book I think is going to prove it to you. That curse, the fear of breaking away from it, only comes because of one significant reason, and that's because you aren't armed with the skill sets. If you are armed with the skill sets, you would not feel any hesitation from taking a risk in your life. I'm a firm believer in that. So I'm not telling anyone to just quit their jobs, but I'm just saying that it makes the transition. You'll have a lot more conviction in your ability to break generational curses, create generational wealth, the more skilled you are. This is why when Elon says he's going to do something, Alex Hormozi or Zuckerberg or any of these guys say any outlandish thing, we tend to just believe that they're going to be able to do it. But if Joe down the street says it, we're like, Joe, shut the heck up. Go to bed. Go to bed, Joe. But when Elon says it, cool. Just let me know when it's done. Why?
Well,
Because they've got the skill sets.
well, Sam, have you ever heard the saying? There's a question. Why does a bird land on a tree? Is it because the bird trusts the branch or that it trusts its wings? Right? We know that the bird doesn't trust the branch. The branch could drop out from underneath it at any time. The bird trusts in its ability to fly. So it'll go and land anywhere because it trusts its wings. It's trusting in its skill set. You guys all going out and developing skills. Effectively, you become a bird that trusts in your wings, not the thing you're perched on. All right, let's get the second person. Here is the interesting person. I mean, Sam, we're gonna talk this one through out loud. I did see that Chin Mei was the first person to get his tag, and at least on my side, I don't know if it showed on your side. How are we feeling about my man Chin Mei? Chin Mei's been showing up, and that tag came in before we were even done talking. I think Chin Mei had already tagged us, uploaded it on IG, had the link, like did everything.
I also want to hit on this. Chinmay was the first person to compliment my Roger Federer hat. If anyone doesn't know Roger Federer, this is his logo. It's his hat. My all-time hero in life. And Chinmay was the first person to compliment me today about the hat. So Chinmay absolutely freaking gets a copy of 100 Million Leads. I'm down with that.
Let's go. All right, we got Chin Mei in here. I think we got one more book to give away. And, there we go. Chin Mei saying fire. Freaking love it. There's one more person, and I think this person deserves it. If she's still in the chat, let's see if she's still here because she's someone that's been showing up consistently. In fact, I just had a conversation with her a few weeks ago about what she's building in her business. She's been working her guts out. She's a young entrepreneur, Sydney Nash. Sydney, if you're still here, you got to drop some fire emoji in the chat because you tagged us on IG. You've been showing up consistently for us. You've been showing up consistently for yourself. And I love watching people who don't make being young an excuse. I know some friends from back home that unfortunately they still, it's like, but no one's going to take me serious because I'm this age and, I'm 19 and I'm 20. I'm like, dude, get over it. Go out there and make it happen. Being young is not an excuse. Being old is not an excuse. Just go get it done. So I think Sydney is one of those people that deserves to get a book.
Sydney Nash, you know what? Don Rich is here. I've talked about this in the past on this podcast. Don Rich helped me get out of my damn head sometimes. And I've talked about this before in terms of not owning my own successes because of how young I am and how much success I had so fast. And Don actually came to me on a phone call and he was like, basically, excuse my language, he was kind of like, dude, you're being kind of a bitch right now. And the reason why is I wasn't owning my successes and I was downplaying them and I wasn't stepping up to my potential because I'm like, well, it could all be a fluke. I could just be lucky. And he's like, no, dude, you're just moving at a 10x pace because you're a 10x human being. And so he helped me get out of my own head about my age and how young I am. And I appreciate that there's someone in the chat who takes their age, doesn't use it as an excuse. They're owning it. They're going to crush with it. They're working on the damn things. So Sydney Nash, 100%. Can I feel giving, bro. Can we give out a fourth one tonight?
I think the answer is absolutely.
Okay. I want to give everyone who hasn't had a chance to do it. Can we just give them a minute? Can we give them, go ahead and tell them the things that they need to do? If you haven't done the things, Marlon's going to tell you what you need to do. I'm going to give away one more. We're only supposed to do 3. I want to give away more. So just Marlon, can you tell them what they have to do? And we'll give you guys a minute and we'll chit chat in the meantime.
So guys, what you need to do, first off, if you are on my YouTube, you need to go to Sam's YouTube and you need to subscribe to Sam's YouTube channel, right? And when you subscribe, I'm talking in fact, let me show you guys how it's done because I'm a visual learner. And so I'm going to share my screen for a second. So this is what it's going to look like. You guys go to YouTube. You type in Sam Beautiful Sing. And look at that. First guy that pops up. So I'm going to go to Sam's page. See this? This is what it will look like when you first get here. It's going to say, I can't even unsubscribe. There we go. I'm going to unsubscribe from Sam so you guys see what it looks like. I'm going to click subscribe. And then I'm going to come over here to this little downward arrow. And I'm going to click on all because I want to know when Sam is live because you guys see Sam delivers value. So when Sam's here, I want to know when he's going live. I want to make sure I get all of that value. Then if you're on Sam's page, you're going to type in Marlon Johnson, and you guys should find me right there, Mindset Marlon. Dude, look at the fro with my man Devin Burr. Love that dude. So you're going to go to Marlon's, you're going to do the exact same thing over here. Once you do this, it's so freaking simple. You're going to go onto your cell phone. I'm going to stop sharing because now this is just what you do from your phone. You're going to screenshot yourself watching this live right now. Screenshot us on the screen. Like, hey, what's up? Screenshot us on the screen. And then you're going to share it to Instagram, tagging both myself, tagging Sam. And for bonus points, if you understand how to tag the link to the YouTube, tag the link to the YouTube so that other people can come and get value. All right. The people that do this, you are entered into the raffle, right? We already had Sydney do it. We had Kafar, we had Deborah, we had Chin Mei, we had Aaron tags. Who else did we get inside here? Michelle Rice. We got Bella Flores. What's up, Bella? Good to see you. All right. So we'll give you guys a minute to do that. While I'm giving you that minute, I do want to address something that Don put. First off, big shout out to Don Rich. Loki, Don is like the fairy godfather. Like if someone in real estate is doing something awesome, there's a good chance that Don is in their ear, giving them advice, giving them guidance. I know personally when I need to get myself reset, like I know I'm the mindset guy, but let me be real, guys. I have days that are hard. I have challenges. I have troubles. I go through low points just like everybody else. And when I get into my low point, the person I have in my corner, it's Don. I pick up the phone. I call Don. I say, dude, I need some time. I need you to stop what he. And here's the cool thing. Don's got kids. He's got a family. He's got a lot going on in his world and his business. And one thing I love about him is he will stop and make time for me. So I'm a big believer of who you have in your corner makes a difference. And Donovan mentioned a book up here, which he and I were just talking about the other day, which is the book, The Secret. Now, this one is going to be on the side of if you guys are super like tech and analytical, you probably have never picked up this book because you believe it is woo-woo. And here's what I'm going to tell you. That book is a game changer from the standpoint of understanding how your mind works in general. Understanding why if you hear The Secret and you've been thinking woo-woo, I want you to think about this. That book is the same as when Sam comes on here and he starts talking about the power of focus. When he starts talking about the power of your mental bandwidth and ignoring the woman in the red dress, ignoring all the shiny objects. The Secret effectively is just a nicer, less harsh way of telling you to focus on the things you desire. When you really get into this and you really understand this, you're going to start to look at all the results you have in your life. And for better or for worse, you're going to realize there's one denominator. There's one common denominator in all your results, and that's you. And more specifically, it's what you've been thinking about and feeling the most regularly, the most often. If something's been sabotaging in your life, it's not someone else coming after you and sabotaging, right? Like no one's out to ruin your life. You're the one holding yourself back. The only limitations in your life are internally created. I can promise you that. I could promise you. I mean, if there's anything we spoke about here tonight, you understand, like Sam said, go out and build skill sets, right? Go out and develop yourself. You do that, then literally nothing can stop you. So The Secret is one of my fan favorites. Go and read that book if you haven't in a long time. So let's see, Sam. I'm getting a lot more tags here.
Yeah, huge. I want to, guys, we're going to go ahead and do the giveaway in a moment. I want to hit on one question that was a phenomenal question that came in. And then we're going to answer this question and then we're going to do the giveaway and then we're going to wrap it for the night. Kenneth. I love that name. Kenneth is a great name. One of my favorite rock artists, his first name is Kenneth. Kenneth says, got a question. I think I've seen you guys speak about focusing on one marketing channel for your first million in revenue. Why? Great freaking question. And I'm going to speak to this, Marlon, and I'd love to hear your take on it. But I'm huge on marketing. I love marketing. That's like my jam. And so here's the thing. Every marketing channel effectively works as long as you're doing it right. The problem is in the beginning, and in your beginning in business, you may not have all the resources possible to do all of them or multiple of them. So you need focus and attention. And the number one thing that is lacking with newer folks is focus. They tend to just lack it completely throughout the door. And here's the other issue with hopping around from multiple marketing channels. And I see this with wholesalers all the damn time. to get to, let's just say, a quarter million in rev in cold calling. Very doable. Very, very, very simple. You're going to hit a wall, right? You're going to do it. You're going to do the thing. You're going to mess around. You're going to not do it amazingly. You're going to get better and better and better. And you're going to brute force your way to about a quarter million to maybe $350,000 in rev. And what's going to happen is you're going to hit this kind of like seemingly invisible wall. Okay. What you don't realize is that invisible wall isn't because cold calling doesn't work and cold calling can't be scaled. It's because you as a founder now need to start understanding how to actually grow a team and how to hire more people and manage more systems. And the problem with most people is they'll take that invisible wall, that invisible ceiling, Marlon, and they're going to think, oh, cool, cold calling's maxed out. So I need to go do texting, or I need to go do direct mail. I need to go do something else. And the reality is with every single channel, you will, no matter what, at some point hit that invisible wall. And the only thing that's preventing you from getting through that revenue barrier to going to 500,000, 750,000, or $1 million is literally just your ability to focus, solve the problem immediately ahead of you, right? And also reinvest back into that channel. And you have this thing that we call an ignorance debt. And it's the cost of not knowing what you don't know. And the problem with a lot of people is they start a marketing channel, they'll do it and they'll do it kind of half-assed because they don't know how to optimize it perfectly just yet. And so it won't even be great. And then they'll hit a wall and they'll see a post on Instagram from Samsung who talks about, direct mail or PPL or PPC or whatever the hell it is. And then say, cool, grass is greener over there. I'm going to go there. You have an ignorance debt there too. And when you go there, you don't start at 10, you start at 0. You just don't realize it. And then you're going to go make revenue and then you're going to hit your ceiling at 300K, 400K, 500K. And then you're just going to hop away again. The reality is every channel works. Your life will be a lot simpler and a lot easier. And you'll actually have a lot more traction if you commit to one channel and optimizing it and do that one time. Do that one damn time. And then once you've got $1 million in cold call and you decide to do direct mail next, that wall that you're going to hit at 400K in direct mail, you're going to break through that at light speed because you've done it before with another channel. And I'm a huge advocate of this, guys. Straight up, one marketing channel in this book, not all of them, one, and not even like a whole chapter. It's like 2 paragraphs about this one micro channel. Marlon knows all about it. I tell him all the time when we do it. That one micro channel made me 165 grand in 45 days. Guys, do I need to start going and doing 10 other channels to make $1 million? Or can I just do that same channel and just do it more times and make $1 million in a month? The answer is yes. It's actually a lot simpler than people think. But I can't ever get that privilege or that luxury or that income if I have something that's working and then I hit a barrier and then I jump onto the next thing and then the next thing and then the next thing. You got to believe in the channel. You got to believe in your ability to focus. You got to believe in your ability to get through obstacles. So I want to hit that. I hope that answered that question. Marlon, are you cool with me announcing the extra giveaway?
I absolutely am. I'm just gonna follow up on one thing because I love that Don put this in here. He said, and I agree with this, right? Like everything Sam just said, I 1000% agree in. And with that marketing channel that you choose, there's got to be unwavering faith and belief in it. Like the issue is a lot of people don't actually believe in the marketing channel. They don't believe. It's kind of like in sales. Like if you don't believe in the product and you don't believe in the script, I can give you the script and you can say it over and over and over. But if you're missing the key factor, the invisible factor, the belief and the faith and the trust, it's not going to turn on for you. So if you're going to commit to a marketing channel, commit to a marketing channel. Like be all in. You should be so committed to that marketing channel that if it doesn't work, you're standing there like so freaking surprised. Like, how did this not work? Because you are that in belief that it would work. That's the level of faith you need to come at it with and include that into your action. I need you to couple both the action and the belief into your movements. Embody that. And if you don't know how to embody it, then read the book, The Secret. Read the book, The Secret there. All right, let's talk about who the winner is of this now.
Huge. Okay, guys, we are absolutely over time. We were only supposed to give away 3 books tonight, but honestly, you guys have been amazing in the chat. And I'm kind of fired up because I love talking about the skill sets that make you immune to going broke. And I love our community. And something that we haven't even said today Guys, this is episode 105.
Dude.
For those of you guys that
105.
don't know, last week was our 2-year anniversary of doing Think Big. And I want to highlight this. That's 105 weeks in a row that we've gone without missing. We haven't missed a Tuesday in 105 freaking weeks. And guess what? We're going to keep going until we hit 200, 250, 1,000. Why? Because we just don't miss. It's a discipline thing. It's also that I get to spend time with Marlon, but I want to show love to the people who've been with us all this time. And that's why I want to give out another one. And if you are new to Think Big, guys, we do giveaways a lot. Like I gave away a bunch of books a few weeks ago. And honestly, we're probably going to start giving away a lot more stuff for free. And I think Marlon and I are kind of entering a season where we just want to give and give and give and give to our people so you can change your damn lives. And so I already know who I'm going to pick. This person, everyone else in the chat, I want you guys to know this person has been the most consistent person for showing up to Think Big live. I don't think there's anyone more. And this person is someone that I have a deep, deep appreciation for. I know Marlon and I both have so much appreciation and admiration for this person. But the last winner for tonight is going to be, let me find a comment. Boom. Jade Vaughn. Jade, you are amazing. I appreciate the hell out of you for showing up as often as you do, as consistently as you do. And I hope you, and honestly, if you apply half the consistency you've showed to Think Big to like a micro chapter in this book, you're probably just going to make millions of dollars, honestly. So
can I give a word of advice to everyone that reads that book, right? For all of our amazing winners, here's my word of advice. That book that you're getting, treat it like a manual. Treat it like an instruction manual. Like it's not just a book for information. It's not so you can tell us what you learned. It's so you can tell us what you did. Freaking love it. Dude, thank you for being you. Guys, if you enjoyed this episode of Think Big, episode 105, make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you go back and watch the previous episodes because we do give value in all of them. In fact, we had somebody, I sent you the video, Sam. There was somebody at a workshop. They were at a big Marriott hotel. They had big projector screens. And you know what they were playing on their projector screens? They were playing our older episodes of Think Big. And they told us they were running back through the library, which I just freaking loved. And they were just like, dude, thank you. I'm getting more value from this than even the seminars that I've attended. So I love that. Make sure you guys go back. There's value in those previous episodes. And be sure to like, subscribe, and share any episode that you found valuable. Share that with a friend. Next week, we'll be back for episode 106 of the Think Big podcast. Love you guys. Peace.